Hi, my name is ChristopherMacDonald-Clark, and this is my video explaining my development concepts final project. As you can see here, we come in and we create our canvas and our a enter spot and a button for entering for the player can enter their name. Come into our script where we create all of our various variables, including my two arrays, which make up the high scores board, which is just random numbers names and numbers I chose. We have our actual button and such. We have the event listener being created on the button so that when you click it calls on name submit, which then saves your name. And I tell the player to enter their name. We also have an alert which provides the instructions on how to play the game and the fact that you only have 10 clicks to try. We then call start game. Start game comes in. We create our monster and set up his sprite sheet and states for that. We have a function inside here called calculate wait time, which calculates the amount of time it's supposed to wait from the beginning of the game till when the monster starts animating. We have our update animation, and the time is random, but I've set a minimum of 20 so that it gives the player time to enter their name and read the instructions and such. Update animation function, which is quite simple and self-explanatory. It updates the animation. It moves the current frame forward one every time we move forward. Every time interval. That way the monster will switch through frames to move out of the hole and go back in with it when it goes backwards if it's reached the final frame, which is 5, to go back in. Then we go down a little further. We go into I create an add event listener load handler on the image. That way when the image loads, I can call certain things. On the canvas, which I create a click listener, which I did that because the image is going to be the size of the canvas. Therefore, it's the same thing as clicking on the image itself. I set the image. Come down here, we call calculate wait time, and we set an interval timer, which is random. That way, every time you start the game, the monster will actually move at a different speed, which I thought might be a little bit fun. You could have a really fast one or a really slow one sometimes. And I set it to a variable called myTimer so that I can clear it later. I have a function here of click, which is when you click on the monster, it checks how many attempts you have for the 10 for ending the game, what the current frame of the monster is to decide how many points you get and if you hit it or not. You get partial points if you click on it in any frame other than the last one or the first one, because you get none on the first one because it's completely hidden. And the last one is it fully emerged. You get a little message just telling you that and updating your points. And if the game ends, I remove the click listener so you can no longer click on the image, thus removing the chance for the player to mess with anything. And I call end game. Otherwise I don't do that and we just keep looping. Update, which is our function, which runs every time frame, calls update animation so that moves the monster through the frames, and it renders everything right here where we draw a blank rectangle onto the space to get rid of everything, and then we draw everything anew. Down in endgame, it's pretty simple. I clear the timer so that it doesn't keep going. I draw a blank rectangle across to clear everything, and then I tell the player, their score, how many times they hit, how many times they missed, and I print out the high scores array after I check to see if the player needs to become a location and replace it. So now we're going to go into the game itself, which, as you can see here, we have an update that instructs you. I'm going to enter my name and open up the console so that we can see. So I've entered my name. The monster's moving. I click. I got a point because I clicked on him appropriately. I missed. I get missed. And if I can get him to re-emerge, moving a little bit slowly on this one, we will, there we go. Let me just spam click a little so that we go to the end. As you can see, I got some partial points. We go to the end, my score is 5.5. I hit 2 times, I missed 1 time. High score is just kind of randomly set up. My final score was 5.5, so as you can see, I was placed into the array here. And that is the game and its functions. Yeah, so there we go. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.